Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for visiting. Today I'm going to talk about something that is still an issue and it's quite surprising to me because I would expect by now we're in 2021 and people are learning to see how we have so many people around the world that we can adjust to, so many people that we meet every day in our lives that are from different backgrounds, like these colorful hijabs that I have behind me. Everything is different and colorful, but they all fit nicely together, right? um but and you have people that you meet all the time that you have a lot of things in common with, and it doesn't matter where they're from, and you can find that commonality with them. Getting married, it's a different story, right? You kind of don't want to because they're either too dark. Oh, here, their career is different than yours, so their profession is like, they're not a doctor, so I mean, don't look at them because they have to be a doctor. um or they're not from a certain background, right? Their ethnicity is different than yours, and you then have to worry about what the society thinks, right? So the community around you, if you marry someone or want to marry someone that's a divorcee, or you marry someone that's a divorcee, or marry someone that's a single parent, oh my god forbid, the whole society, the whole like city or the village that you're living in was talking about it, right? It's like, oh my god, I can't believe, he married her. Oh, I can't believe she married him. And it's like, what's the problem? Why, first, why is it your business, right? Why is it your business who the person chooses to marry? But you have all this stress that you and pressures upon yourself, and it's really unnecessary. Because the reason that I find a lot of people think this is so important is because they feel that if you're the same culture, or you have the same ethnicity, you have the same profession, you will get along better, right? And your marriage will be better because you share things in common. This is partly true. You have things in common because of, you share the same background and whatnot. And so you're aware of, the customs and whatnot. But it's not 100% true. And it is not guaranteed that if you marry someone of the same culture, that you will have a happy, wonderful marriage. Okay? Because every marriage will have ups and downs. So no marriage is perfect, right? But they all have ups and downs. So now I was actually reading an article, and I want to bring this up really quickly. It was about the reasons why people get divorced. And one of those reasons, or actually two of those reasons that I actually mentioned before, in that article, and that is compatibility. So the lack of compatibility, I can't even say the word, um, is one of the reasons, big reasons, why a lot of people get divorced, especially in the Muslim community, right? And another reason is you have unrealistic expectations. You have this fairy tale thing in your mind that, when you get married, it's gonna be like this, and oh, it's gonna be all happy, and it's not that fairy tale that you're expecting. You get really disappointed and down on yourself, and on top of that, you also um have that lack of compromise. I mean, I didn't mention that one, but compromise is something, again, it all ties into being compatible, right? You need to be able to understand each other, to be compatible with each other, to be respectful towards one another, and to be able to compromise, because there's a give and take in everything, right? When you get married, you have to be able to do that. However, nowadays days, there's a lot of impatient people, right? Because everybody wants to have my way. It's my way, or no way kind of thing, right? This kind of attitude, you can't have it. And I think if you have that kind of attitude, the last thing you want is to get married with someone, because you're just ruining yourself, your life, your and that person's life, because you can't have that kind of attitude going into a marriage. So number one, you got to prepare yourself, right? I'm going to give you a good example of myself. So I have a West Indian background. My husband is Arab. We're from completely two different places. And on top of that, he's also very, very young, younger than me. And communication was a little bit of an issue because of the language, right? Um, the language and the distance, right? So we had the time difference between both of our countries, well, 6 hours apart difference. There was the communication because his first language is Arabic and French, then English, and I only spoke English. And that itself probably discouraged someone from even talking to someone, right? But it didn't for me, in fact, or him. In fact, it turned out to be a positive for us, because it actually allowed us to help with our communication skills. So it showed us that really needed to make the effort to communicate with each other, to try and have an understanding with each other, if we wanted to get married, right? But the fact that he was a different race, a different culture, different ethnicity, different skin tone, whatever you want to call it, that was never an issue, right? And we had barriers, but that wasn't the issue for us, right? I'm not saying that you have to find someone, or finding someone of the same culture is not a good thing to do. I'm just saying keep an open mind about it, right? Don't just say, okay, I'm gonna, look for someone to get married, but they have to be like this, and they have to be like this, right? Keep an open mind. You may actually find someone of a different race that is very compatible with you, because that is the most important thing, right? Because people who are the same culture also have compatibility. What's that word? Compatibility issues. So they have issues as well. So the only thing is, if you have someone with a different background as you, or different ethnicity, different culture, upbringing, you have to work a little harder to understand them. And the good thing is you get to learn a little bit more, something different from someone, right? So every marriage needs a little bit of work, right? So you have to be able to do that. So stop being so picky on, these criteria that your parents have put upon you, or the criteria you put upon yourself when it comes to getting married, about especially if it's related to culture, profession. No one knows, right? You are marrying the person, not your parents, not your uncle, not your cousin, not your friends, right? You're the one who's doing that, and you're the one who's going to be communicating and living with them. So prepare yourself, learn how to communicate, learn how to try and understand each other, and open your mind to different things. And don't just stick to one thing, because you never know who you'll meet, where you'll meet them, or when you'll meet them. So, inshallah, I hope this video will help you out a little bit. And I hope you'll try to look beyond these cultural norms and stigmas that are placed upon you. And I hope that you do find someone that is best for you in the right time. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.